Hey everyone, welcome along to Arsenal Fan TV, and this weekend sees the return of the Barclays Premier League. And honestly, ever since the season ended, ever since we lifted the FA Cup back in May, I've been so excited for the season to start again. Honestly, we've got a great opening game against West Ham United, where we tend to have a fairly decent record against them ever since they've been promoted back to the Premier League. And this is a great opportunity for this Arsenal team to get the ball rolling in the Premier League following that Community Shield victory that we had against Chelsea the other weekend. And this really could be the start of something special for Arsenal going into this season. Of course, we've got a fantastic record over West Ham going into this game. As you know, ever since West Ham have gone back into the Premier League, we've tended to beat them on most occasions, getting a fairly convincing goal amount against them as well. So I'm really looking forward to this game, seeing this team bond and gel with Petr Cech in goal as well, a very disciplined squad. I'm looking forward to seeing how we'll perform on the opening day. I think it's important that we make a statement in this game to show that we could potentially be title challengers this year. I do see this squad as title challengers. I just think we've got to go out there and have a more convincing performance than we did against Crystal Palace last season on the opening day, because that was a very unconvincing display, scraping by them by 2-1. I'd like to think that we could go in this game and beat West Ham by 3-4 goals to nil. Of course, not going to underestimate West Ham in any way, shape or form. Previously, our record against West Ham has been superb, like I've already mentioned, but West Ham have strengthened this summer. First of all, they've brought in Aubameyang from Sampdoria, a very experienced Serie A player. I'm sure he'll do well in that West Ham role. And I think that considering they haven't tied Alex Song down yet, I think he's a good player to start in the midfield for them. They've also brought in Ogbonna from Juventus, who's certainly going to shore up their defence. They've been in need of a centre-half for some while now. Tompkins and Ogbonna are going to form a good partnership for them in that in those centre-back roles. I certainly think it'll be a more sturdy West Ham defence that we've seen in recent years. They do tend to leak goals, and I think that will certainly shore things up for them. And also they've brought in most recently Carl Jenkinson from Arsenal, who of course can't play this game, but certainly I think his progression will develop at West Ham. A good move for him, considering we've got Debuchy and Hector Bellerin playing in our right back role, and loaning him to West Ham where he's already comfortable. He still remains in London, so he's close to Arsenal connections. I think it's a good move for him, and I'm hoping he'll have another good season at West Ham, similarly to the one he had last season, progress from where he was. But the big signing that they brought in, who everyone's been talking about from Marseille, it is Payet. He looks I probably most likely said that wrong, but Payet, whatever you want to call him, he looks like a really good signing for West Ham. He's got pace, he's got power. He is a little bit older, and they have paid about 10, 11, 12 million pounds for him. So they've got a good deal on their hands there. Certainly a player that could propel West Ham to the next level. That's what they want to do. And as I'm making this video, they did crash out of the Europa League last night, which I think came as a bit of a surprise to me. They played such a weak squad with the likes of Maiga up front, a lot of inexperienced players, a lot of youth players in that game. And they go into this game against Arsenal, which is a game that they know they don't have a good record in. And I can understand that West Ham want to progress in the league. They want to improve on where they finished last season. They want to get a good, possibly top 10 finish. But to see them go out of the Europa League in that fashion, to not take it as seriously as I think other teams were, was a little unambitious from West Ham. And going into this game against Arsenal, where they, like I say, they don't have the best of records, that did surprise me on that front. But they've got a good squad. They're going to play a very strong 11 against us. I'm expecting that, with Sacco up top, of course. They haven't got Valencia, they haven't got Carroll, so Sacco is the main threat for them. Payet, of course, the main threat. Kayute, they've got a lot of dangerous players within their squad, players that we've got to look out for. But I think with the squad that we've got, we're more than capable of shutting this West Ham team down and getting a couple of goals against them. Looking at Arsenal, the big blow for us is, of course, that Jack Wilshere has been ruled out for about a month, so we can probably round that up to about 2 months, which I think is a massive blow to him more than it is to Arsenal. I think that there's no denying that we played our best football last season when Jack Wilshere wasn't in the squad. I hate to say that, but I do think that our best period came towards the end of the season when Jack Wilshere wasn't involved with the Arsenal team. But that's not to say I don't think he can be a massive, crucial element to this Arsenal squad. It is a shame that he's going to be out for this period of time. It does look like he'll be out for about 6 to 8 weeks, which I think is a big blow to him mentally. The fact that he's going to miss those games for England, where he had an opportunity to cement his place in the starting 11 of the England squad, and the fact that he's going to miss the start of the season with Arsenal, where he also had a chance to cement his place in the Arsenal starting 11. Big blow to him mentally, physically. It's on his ankle again, of course. We know the injury history that he's got with his ankle, so a big blow for him more than it is for us. But it would have been great to have Wilshere in or around the squad on the opening day of the season. But I can only wish him well. I hope he comes back into the squad, a revitalised player. But it's the worst possible start Jack Wilshere could have had to the new season. I just hope he recovers earlier than expected and he can get back in training as soon as possible. But of course, we've got a very healthy squad apart from that. The only real other absentees are Thomas Rosicky and Danny Welbeck, who I don't think we're going to miss too much going into this game. Our squad is very, very well nourished going into this fixture against West Ham. Picking a team lineup, I think, is a very, very difficult decision for me. I personally couldn't pick it, so I tweeted out to you guys on Twitter. If you don't follow me At @simplycookie_ is my Twitter handle, so I'm trying to get a bit more involved in my Twitter, a bit more involved in these videos for the coming season. But I tweeted out, what lineup would you like to see start this game against West Ham, because I can't really pick it off the top of my head. So these are some of the teams that you tweeted into me. First off, from Genova's Legacy: Cech, Bellerin, Mertesacker, Koscielny, Monreal, Cazorla, Coquelin, Ramsey, Ozil, Rosicky, Giroud. Considering Rosicky's out, I don't think that's going to feature in this game. Next one from Christoph Sam is Cech, Bellerin, Per, Koscielny, Monreal, Coquelin, Ramsey, Cazorla, Ozil, Chamberlain and Giroud. Sounds like a good lineup. And next up from Essence of Wilsh is Cech, Bellerin, Koscielny, Mertesacker, Monreal, Coquelin, Santi, Walcott, Ozil, Chamberlain and Giroud. Next up from Alexis17 Editor is Cech, Bellerin, Koscielny, Mertesacker, Monreal, Coquelin, Ramsey, Chamberlain, Ozil, Walcott and Giroud. And from Contains Heme, not sure if I've said that right, but Cech, Bellerin, Koscielny, Mertesacker, Monreal, Coquelin, Chamberlain, Ozil, Ramsey, Cazorla and Giroud. And the final one from A Bit Too Laddie is Cech, Debussy, Koscielny, Mertesacker, Monreal, Coquelin, Walcott, Ozil, Cazorla, Chamberlain and Giroud. So I think the general consensus there is that a lot of people want to see Aaron Ramsey to start the game, and I also want to see Mesut Ozil start the game, and I also want to see Santi Cazorla start the game. Trying to fit these three into the same team is proving to be difficult. I think it was difficult throughout the pre-season. I think it did well in that game against Chelsea in the Community Shield. We played some very good football with those three players in the squad, and I think that it is something that can be possible, but it does mean playing one of them in a position that isn't preferable to that particular individual. I think possibly, judging by that game in the Community Shield, we could see Mesut Ozil deployed on the left-hand side. I think this will be a temporary thing until Alexis Sanchez is fit and ready to be back in the squad. Of course, Sanchez may be involved from the bench on Sunday, but personally I think they're going to rest him for that game against Crystal Palace that we've got after this. But I do think that we're going to see possibly Mesut Ozil start on the left-hand side of the pitch. So it's great hearing your lineups. The lineup that I want to see going into this game personally is Cech, Bellerin, Mertesacker, Koscielny, Monreal, Coquelin, Cazorla, Walcott, Ozil, Chamberlain and Olivier Giroud. It is really hard to leave Ramsey out. It really, really is hard. But I think the better of the two players from Cazorla and Ramsey perspective is Cazorla at the moment. But I would have no problem with one of them, with these two players starting in the same lineup. I think we play some very intricate football with those players in the squad in the Community Shield, and there's no doubting how pivotal Ramsey is to this Arsenal team at the moment. I would like to see us play with two out-and-out wingers, but on the other hand, I could see us playing with Ozil on the left, like I already mentioned, possibly Ramsey on the right, which I'd rather not see. I'd rather see, if we are going to play with Cazorla and Ramsey in the same side, I'd rather they were both deployed in midfield areas rather than having one of them play on a wide position. I don't think that's going to benefit the team particularly. Possibly Ozil is the one exception you could have to that, who may perform a little bit better on the wings whilst also drifting inside and not leaving a massive gaping hole on the left-hand side of the pitch. So, I mean, I'm happy with whatever team Wenger plays for this game, unless it's like some completely ridiculous team. But I have faith that he's going to play a good team for this game, and I won't have an issue with Ramsey and Cazorla playing in the same side. But I would like to see us play with two out-and-out wingers feeding off Olivier Giroud. I think the way Giroud held up the ball in the game against Chelsea, I want to see Giroud and Walcott start the game. I think it's a fact that these two players, I don't think it's a fact, it is a fact that these two have a fantastic goal scoring record against West Ham in particular. So I want to see these two start the game, play off each other. With Chamberlain, he's undoubtedly got to start the game. He was amazing against Chelsea last weekend. I think it's pivotal that he starts the game. I'm hoping that he'll put in a really good performance and replicate the one he had against Chelsea and have an injury-free season. That's what we want to see from Chamberlain. And when him and Alexis Sanchez are in the same team, it's going to be a very exciting prospect for Arsenal. But that's my Arsenal team. Leave your one in the comments box below. I'm really confident going into this game, to be fair. I think we've had a really good pre-season. We've got to continue that going into this season. Of course, it is a blow that Wilshire's out, but this squad is capable of beating West Ham, beating them convincingly and getting the best possible start to the Barclays Premier League season. I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory to Arsenal. Leave your team predictions, your score predictions in the comments box below. Subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV. Do check out my own channel, AFC Game by Game. Follow me on Twitter at @simplycookie_. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, and thank you very much for watching, guys.
With our new stadium, in 10 years' time, we're going to be competing with you at the top of the league. We're going to be competing with you for the FA Cups that you win these years and things like that. Do you think?
I think still in 10 years' time, it'll be still your place will be still a retirement home for our players. To be honest with you. To be honest with you, like it is normally, you know. I mean, with Ian Wright, that was a good retirement home for him.